Chris. Welcome to the Must Be Nice podcast. How's everything going, man?
Dude, amazing. Happy to be here, man.
That's good, brother. And how's everything going with the audio, the picture? It's how you want it? You want to configure it at all?
Honestly, dude, we got like 4 cameras going right now. I just don't even know where to look, but it's all good.
Yeah, where you're looking right now is perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's good.
I would definitely, before we learn more about your business, Chris, I definitely just want to learn more about you. Just so you know, this entire podcast is more of a conversation at a cafe.
Okay.
Someone like you, before you had your business, probably had the opportunity to sit at a cafe and talk to a mentor or someone that was doing this. And, this is someone else's opportunity online to be able to hear that, right?
For sure.
So, if you want to let's see. If you want to, you can exit the one on the computer. Actually,
yeah. Let me
Feel
just
free
do
to
that.
exit that one. Yeah.
And I'm just getting honestly like super distracted with all this stuff.
Yeah, no issue. All right,
And
brother.
then,
You're
hold
set
on
up.
one sec, dude. Let me just make sure that this one. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
Good to
Chris,
go.
Tell me about yourself. Who are you?
Dude, yeah, most people know me at this point by Chris the insurance guy. It's kind of funny. It's gotten to the point where like I had a friend recently, like they were saying like, oh yeah, like Chris Costantini. They were talking to somebody who was like an acquaintance of an acquaintance, and then they were like, no, I don't. Who's that? Like they didn't know who I was, and then they said like, oh, is that Chris the insurance guy? Like they actually knew me by Chris the insurance guy, which I think is completely like insane at this point. Because so I'm Chris Costantini. I'm an insurance broker. That's my career. And man, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself I could possibly be every single day as a business owner, friend, brother, son, future husband to a beautiful woman that's out there somewhere in the world. And yeah, man. That's pretty much it. Just running this business, yeah.
Did you come from anywhere special? Did you come from, a family that was, in the business? Where are you from?
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as the business itself, no. I kind of, my parents, my mom is born and raised in Mexico. My dad is full Italian. So I'm half Mexican, half Italian, which is pretty dope. I really like both sides. The food and on both ends are really good. The cultures are pretty fun on both ends too. Very family oriented. So that's kind of how I grew up. Very family oriented. Great parents, great family, good upbringing. I don't have any like crazy story to tell you about just I was going through a rough time growing up and like in the inner city and like struggles and stuff. Honestly, I grew up pretty middle class and yeah, man, it was a good childhood, and I played a lot of soccer growing up, which I think has a lot to do with who I am now, with like discipline and also just like drive and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man, in like a nutshell.
And did you know any business owners that like inspired you to do this in your family?
In the family, no, dude. It's funny. I have like my dad is he's an engineer, so satellite aerospace engineer, worked for Boeing. For 30 plus years, and very conservative. We had my great grandfather kind of, he and my grandfather also, like they came to the U.S. from Italy. That was like the whole kind of like American dream story that I do resonate with. There was like a meat market in downtown LA that got started by, some people might know, it's called Eastside Deli. That's in the family business. That was a family business back in the day. Also some funny stories with like my great grandfather kind of doing some bootlegging during like the Prohibition era, where they were, they got some licenses from the church to sell some wine, but they definitely overdid the wine production and started selling those at, extremely high prices and made a good chunk of money at that time. So those are like some family secrets that are like, some entrepreneurial family secrets that we don't like talk about too much. We're not part of the mob or anything like that, but we did do some like there were some questionable business activities earlier on in the family, but nothing like super. Everyone's like pretty conservative for the most part. I'm like one of the only ones that really went there, like all in.
Yeah, and when you became or when you were a kid, did you always think I'm gonna own a business? I'm gonna be like that stories from a generation ago, or where did you want to be like a firefighter? What was that aspirations like as
Dude,
a kid?
yeah, no, for me, when I was younger, it was always about soccer. I was just big on, like, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. I wanted to be like Cristiano Ronaldo, or, that was the main goal. Like, I was playing a ton of soccer, and when I was young, there were some signs. Like, I was maybe third grade. I was selling everything I could get my hands on. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, like the Live Strong bracelets, like those kinds of things. I was doing like duct tape wallets. My mom would drive me to Michael's store and get like duct tape rolls, and I was making like 40 duct tape wallets, and the roll cost like $5, but I was selling each one for like 10 or $15 a pop. So I was making all this crazy cash at like third grade, and my parents were like, "What the hell is going on? Like, this kid's like bringing." My parents at one point like took the money away from me because they were like concerned that I was stealing from the other kids. But I wasn't. I swear, I was like, it was good business, you know. Um, so yeah, I didn't really ever know for sure I was gonna do anything, like start my own business, but the signs were there, you know.
Yeah, and your business now is an insurance agency,
Yeah,
right? And
correct.
I definitely want to learn more about that. But is it nice owning an insurance agency? Is it kind of a two-edged sword, or what's the benefits, man?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, it's a two-edged sword for sure. There's some great benefits because it is extremely stable. It's a great business to run. Everybody needs insurance, which is awesome. Um, so in that sense, it's a good business, but it is. I don't talk about this very often, but it's a stressful ass business, man. Like, there's every single day. It's either people putting pressure on you, like they need something urgently. It's high service demand. People need, especially because we do a lot of commercial insurance, so we're businesses depend on us for lending requirements. Like, they need to go through certain approvals, and they need the insurance certificates, and it's kind of a high pressure thing. So there's that, and also employees. Managing employees. My role has shifted quite a bit, so it's a very stressful business actually. It also is, people call you for or when something really bad does happen, like that's when people are calling us. So yeah, there's that too. Like, we're getting the calls when people are crashing or houses on fire and like those kinds of things. So,
Yeah.
but it's a good business ultimately, and it's good money too. So can't complain.
Yeah. But I see you on social media, right? You do travel and get
Oh
some other
yeah.
benefits, right? I know you've hit some milestones too. I'm a big Tesla guy myself. You also
Yeah,
have one. So, like, what
I
have
love
been
the
some of the
Tesla.
benefits of being a business owner?
Yeah, man. I mean, no, those. Okay, so those are the beauties of it too. So um, as the IRS knows, a lot of these things are business expenses. So we traveling for business purposes to meet with clients, and writing off the mileage on the vehicles, and most things food wise tend to kind of fall into business meetings a lot of times. So that's one of the major benefits of running a business, is that, and I think this is a big hack for a lot of people out there. Like, you should definitely, even if you run a little like side business, create an entity of some sort, because you can use the actual revenue. It doesn't always have to be net income. You can use revenue to basically live your life. Your life is kind of funded by your business, which is pretty awesome. And ultimately, if you do things right, and obviously do it by the books in the IRS tax codes, um, you can write them off. So yeah, you can live off of a lot of the, yeah, man. You can travel wherever you want, buy nice cars, like buy nice watches, clothes, and whatever. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, in that sense, I really enjoy the business activity. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And was there a specific milestone that I'm a business owner, I'm gonna hit this, that you've really celebrated?
Um, I I think
Because I bet there's the multi-million-dollar mansions, right, that are going to come very shortly. But what about so far? And how long have you been in business?
yeah, so we've been in business for 5 years. I started the business in 2018. One thing about insurance is it's an extremely slow business. It's not like the tech or these like crypto businesses like you get rich overnight. Like it's been a very slow process to get here. So like when I think back in like milestones, I almost like can't even think of anything that I was like, hell yeah, that was huge. Because it all just felt very progressional, I guess. Like it just felt like it was constantly like, okay, now we're at 500,000. Now we're at 1 million. Like, so I guess the big thing was breaking $1 million in sales. Like that was pretty cool. Um, that was probably the biggest accomplishment. And then that happened in like year 3 or 4, like last year or the year before that. Um, but and then also personally, like I downgraded my vehicle. Like I was driving like a 2004 Lexus. It was like beat up that I bought off like my grandma's friend for like 3 grand. Sold my car, used the cash to put into more like investment stuff, and did that for about like a year and a half or two. Finally, like things, it's just you have to grind it out early on in the early years, especially in a slow business, to set yourself up. So, the $1 million crossing mark, then finally like got enough money to get myself a nicer car. I bought the Tesla. That was nice. I bought a house, an investment property in North Carolina. That was cool. So got my hands on some real estate. That was a big goal for me to move to a nicer city. Got my own place, nicer place. So like those were the main things that all happened honestly within the last year. Yeah. So that's pretty.
That's awesome, man. Sounds like you've been very blessed and got a lot of the good fruits from your labor, right? And
For sure.
to even sow the seeds, so to speak, right? How did you even get into insurance, right? Did this just fall in your lap, or what happened?
That's a great question. It did, and it's funny when you ask people in insurance specifically. Everybody says like, I don't know how I got into this. Like it's just so random. I was like 18 years old. I was working. I was fresh out of high school. I was just started college, and I was just looking for any type of legit job. I wasn't trying to do some like, basic, college internship or anything. I wanted like a real like corporate. I want something that's legit. I reached out to a buddy and I was like, hey man, like what are you doing for work this summer? I always saw he had like a lot of cash on him all the time, and I was just like, okay, this guy's making money doing something. And he's like, he was one of my best friends when I was in like second grade. And he said, reach out to him. He's like, you speak Spanish, right? And I was like, yeah, I speak Spanish. And he said, reach out to my dad, remind him of when we were kids and like how we were best friends, and like ask him for a job. He has a farmer's insurance agency. And I was like, sure, man. So I call up his dad. His name was Wayne. And I was like, hey, Wayne, like this is Chris, blah, blah. And I was like, he's like, yeah, I'll give you a shot. I was like, cool, man. Gave me an interview, somehow trusted me as an 18. I was a wild kid even at 18 years old. I was still doing like wild stuff in college and like, you probably saw me back in the day. But yeah, man, he gave me a shot. I enjoyed it. It's a very people business. So insurance is cool. And so, yeah, I just ran with it, man. Like I liked it, and I dove headfirst and said, I'm going to go deep into this instead of trying a million different things. I was like, I'm going to triple down on insurance and just see where it goes. So that was when I was 18, yeah.
And so, you had this job at, State Farm's Insurance through your buddy's dad.
Yeah.
And, what was that like? You really enjoyed it? You felt it was like, you met your other half? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the beginning, I realized, I was like, okay, one good thing. I was like, everybody needs this. Like, this is a business that everybody. I was already kind of thinking business. My mind was there. I was like, everybody needs this. This is a good business. 2, I was like, I just like making friends with people. Like, I like being social. I like going out. I was always kind of pretty social in high school and like, even college. So I was like, that's easy enough. Like, I can just make connections with people, and like then they trust me and they let me insure their stuff, and I make commissions. I was like, fair enough. That's fair enough. I was like, okay, so then that's good. And then I also got some good results there. Like I started to they started to see some pretty significant increases in the activity and like the success of their agency. Um, and yeah, so then I was like, I like this. I'm gonna stick with this, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were performing and you liked it.
Yeah.
And, what came to, this position of, all right, I'm going to build my own book of business and go off on my own? Was it, I know you went to college, right? Was it
Right.
something where it was just the right time? Or were you using college to give you extra skills that help you today? What was that like, going from being an employee to, being a business owner?
Yeah. Well, when I first started there, I didn't know that I was going to start my own agency yet. I had no idea. It was a bit of a battle actually with my parents for a bit. I was just trying to drop out of college. Like I just said I want to just do insurance 100%. They were not down for that. And I didn't have the balls to do it on my own. Like I was just kind of like I was waiting to see like if they would say yeah, then I was like okay, I'll double down on insurance, but they were pushing pretty hard like you better stay in school. So stayed in school. First 3 years, as you know, like the GEs, like general education, was pretty nonsense. Like I didn't learn too much about necessarily what, especially as a business major, didn't really do too much. The last year of college, I will say, like the advanced classes helped me kind of set up for running my own business. And ultimately, that last 2 years of college is when my wheels started turning, where I was like, I want to start my own agency, because half the time I was like there by myself at that agency, like kind of running things on my own. So I started to kind of think, I was like, dude, I could probably do this on my own if I could just set it up right. And then I decided, I was like, I could either go to farmers and start a farmers agency where they help you a lot, or I could just go independent, which is a lot more complicated. There's a lot more steps and a lot more bullshit you have to deal with to get it kind of like off the ground. And I just said, let's go with the hard one. If I'm ever going to mess this up, I'd rather do it when I'm like 21 years old. So let's just do it now,
Wow, that's awesome, man. And so you decided, hey, I'm going to do this. What was the first step?
Yeah. First step was, well, you need to have a game plan. Like, okay, what vision do you have for the business? So then I started writing down all these like little notes, visions. Then I had to quit the job. That was a big deal. Like I had to tell them like, hey guys, I'm not coming back. I had to set up, just the structural things. Like I had to get the actual licensing and like the actual business entity and all that fun stuff in place. And then there was just probably like a 6 month research time where I was just like, how do you actually do this and like structurally do it? So the first thing is structure of the business. Like you need to figure out entities, like what type of licenses and like what type of protection do you need and to operate legally. Once you can legally set the thing up, then it's just a matter of like executing. So then the following thing was, now people need to know that I'm in business. So it was more like marketing video, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like getting all that pumped out. So those were the first kind of 2 steps: structure, and then let everybody know that what you're doing,
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And so you got the structure going, and so I would assume you had to build the book, after that, right? Was it, did you sign an NDA, and is that what it's like in insurance? Were you able to bring, some clients over, or did you start from fresh?
Completely from scratch. Didn't take any clients. Most of the clients I was working with were current clients of the business before. So I was doing a lot of like inbound and cross-selling. It wasn't like I was bringing on friends and family and my own people. So once I started on my own, I really felt a shift. I was like, like now these are my people. And like now I have to work with my clients and like my, So yeah, a bit of a shift.
And I know sounds like you were a performing salesman before working for someone else.
Yeah.
Now you're the owner of your own book.
Correct.
You performing even better?
Am I performing better now?
No, you go from working as an employee,
Yeah.
selling essentially the same or similar services, and now you're the business owner. There's a different incentive as you as the business owner.
Oh, yeah.
Did you perform even better?
100%, man. Yeah, there's a different level of responsibility that is taken on. So yeah, you have to show up and perform when it's all you, and it's your people. Like there's a different level of care and like yeah, just making sure things are done right because it's your name, your reputation is on the line. So yeah, man, I remember that day like pretty clearly where I was like, oh my gosh, like now it's like now if something goes wrong, like there's no blame in the boss, there's no blame in the manager. It all falls on you as the business owner. So it's a different level for sure.
And since you had all this experience, was it kind of easy to start?
Um, yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's a big learning curve because it's a very different world. Kind of going off on your own, there's a big learning curve. But because I had the experience, I always recommend that to people. Like if you're whatever business you're starting, doesn't matter. Like even if you're starting your own podcast, starting your own like marketing agency, whatever. Like having some experience under your belt is essential to going and doing your own thing because it just expedites the mistakes. It shows you how to do things right, how processes work. And that doesn't mean you need to follow them exactly, but at least you have a framework of how a business operates versus just saying like, hey man, okay, I'm going to start an accounting firm tomorrow. Like, and you have zero experience in accounting. You should probably do like, go work for somebody for 6 months. So yeah, I think working there really, really helped me set myself up for success for sure.
Yeah. And so, obviously, I bet there's a bunch of other people who, want to start their own agency, at least in your case, in insurance, right?
Yeah.
Is that something you'd recommend for someone to do after 6 months, and if they find success, go ahead and start your own, or do you, kind of recommend, is there like a traditional path that, you didn't take that others take?
Um, yeah. I think I'm very hesitant to suggest to people to start their own businesses and agencies, specifically insurance agencies, um, because it is a kind of a. Am I allowed to curse on here or no?
Do you,
Okay,
man?
cool. Yeah, it's a bitch, man. Like there's just a lot of work. It's extremely demanding, um, and especially in the early years, early months and years is gonna be it's rough. Like I don't know if a lot of people like first off have the energy to do it, the time and energy, and also like the stomach to deal with some of the stuff because like when you're first getting going there's gonna be mistakes that are made. Like there was times where people would call me and they would be screaming saying like, dude, what the hell happened to my insurance? Like, are you complete? Like, they would blow up on me. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, they would go crazy on me. And it makes you feel like you sit there and you're just like, oh my, and you're insuring like big, like $10 million homes or something important. You're like, this is serious, like serious stuff. Like, if this goes wrong, I can get sued. Like, this could mess me up, you know? Um, so yeah, there was definitely times where I was like, yeah, dude, this not everybody is cut out to deal with this. And also then it goes as you go further, even like hiring employees, like having to fire people is not that's like my least favorite thing out of anything to do in business. Firing people is the worst thing, like because it just you like the people, you build relationships with them, and then you have to like let them go, and like it's just not fun.
You started this, you obviously had a support system, right? You had your family. I
Right.
assume you had some sort of mentor, and if anything, even a partner,
Yeah.
if not an official company or a person. What was that like? What's your support system for this?
Yeah, 100%. Huge shout out to my parents, the parentals. Yeah, dude, no, they did I couldn't have done it without them for sure. Like, at least their support. I lived with my parents for the first, like, 3.5 years of starting my agency. A bit embarrassing also when you're, like, meeting girls and you're like, hey, oh, like, let's go to your place, go back to my parents' house. You can't go to stuff like that. So, yeah, it was, my parents as a support system that was huge because it just really took that pressure off of me to pay rent, like just the basic needs, like even just coming home and having like a dinner cooked by my mom. I was like, this is amazing. I honestly, if I could, I would probably just stay back there. It was just such a good setup. But yeah, there's that. and just their encouragement. They never really doubted me. They always kind of encouraged me, especially as a 21-year-old, for them to be like, okay, yeah, like go for it. Meanwhile, everyone else is making 80 to 100K straight out of college with good degrees and stuff. I mean, I actually went into the negative. Like I actually lost money the first year, not much, but like I lost a little bit. I lost maybe like $5,000 or $10,000, which is small in the grand scheme of it, but that I didn't have any partners business wise. Like I didn't have anybody who like came in as a partner. I always felt like I was like, I want 100% ownership of all this, and we'll see how it plays out. But I did have a mentor who I kind of came across. Actually, the funniest thing, he cold called me because he found one of my videos on YouTube or Facebook or something, and he was like, "Hey man, you're gonna really like this call." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, what is it?" And he's like, "I just want to send you some of our business that we can't write," because he was a State Farm agent. We're a broker, so we can do all the stuff they can't do. So he would send me the deals that they couldn't do, and he's like, "How fast can you get to my office?" And I was like, "I'll be there in 15 minutes." And he's like, "Okay." And showed up to his office. Great relationship. Now he's one of my best buddies. Damn it, these guys keep calling. Yeah, it's sorry man, I think it just cut out again.
No, you said your best buddies.
Yeah, he's one of my best buddies. So just super grateful for that phone call and him. But yeah, I think also you create your own luck. Like that was me putting out videos and trying to get myself out there in front of people, and he just happened to stumble upon across one of my videos, and it turned into an extremely fruitful relationship. So putting yourself out there is a big part of it too.
Yeah. And so when I know you started doing your videos, right? And I know you said you're a broker. So my two questions are, do you resell anything, or do you sell a specific service? Like, how does that work? And then how did you get into, hey, I'm going to be Chris the insurance guy online?
Right. Yeah. So the specific things that we do service-wise, like we specifically, my focus is commercial insurance. And sorry, you said like, what else do we resell anything, or do we?
So yeah, you're a broker, right?
Right.
So what are you, offering as that service to, the receiver, your customer?
Yeah. So as a broker, the main thing that we have to offer is that we're not tied to one company. We can shop multiple insurance carriers, finding the best option, and then also advising you on what is the right coverage for you, tailored to your situation. So we also understand your financial situation and offer and suggest the protection that we recommend. And in turn, we sell an insurance policy, and the company will pay us commission for bringing those policies to them. The thing with the Christie Insurance Guy is a little bit different in how that evolved. It started also with me making the videos. I posted all I knew was like, I need to get in front of people. I need to make videos, and I need people, because I don't know if you know this, but like there's studies that show like after 7 times of seeing you on video, people start to build rapport with you as if they've met you in person. So, and then you probably know, like when you probably follow like a bunch of other, gurus of different sorts and whatever. It's like, if you see them in person, you almost feel like you know them, And it's almost like way more about them. They don't even know who you are, It's weird, dude. Yeah, I thought about this the other day too. I was like, I forgot who it was, but anyways. Like if I saw Gary Vee on the street, dude, I know everything about Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And he doesn't
his mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, he has no idea who I am, So I was just like, all right, dude, I need to make videos and get in front of people and bring value of some sort. And all I knew was how to start an insurance agency. Like that's the only value I could bring to people. So I started making videos on like how to start an insurance agency. For about a year, they did nothing. And then finally, like some guy reposted it on another insurance website, and it kind of took off. And I started getting all these agents hitting me up, asking me to do consulting for them. Like they would pay me for my time to talk to me about how to start their own brokerage or agency. And that's when I developed, I was like, okay, I can charge people to show them how to do this, like Chris the Insurance Guy. And it just like popped in my head one day. And I just did it, and then that's pretty much it. Now it's like a funny little brand that random people recognize me from. So yeah.
Well, and obviously, you've had this success, and we've talked about, some of these high stress situations, right, with customers. But, in general, has there been a specific, pivotal moment for you, or, setback that you overcame or challenge that, was really a side path on the road to the success you're having now?
For sure. I think the biggest thing, the most memorable thing is like losing our number one client that we had that was bringing in the most revenue for the business. It was a pretty bad day. We kind of found out like they every year. The thing about my business is that every year we have renewals that we need to earn the business of our customer at renewal. That's how we continue to get paid every single year with residual income. But we need to service them and do a good job, and that's when they choose to renew with us. We lost our number one client. They chose to go with another broker, and it was simply because even though we came in with a better product, price, and overall just, I believe, service, they chose the other guy because he was like an expert. He was like an expert in that particular field of that genre of their business. So that was honestly like a lot of people see like that and they're like, dude, that sucks. Like you lost all this money. I lost a big chunk of money, but it was probably one of the most valuable. Like I realized I can never let that happen again. So because of that experience, I started putting in processes, different procedures, and then also just reevaluated the way I go about servicing my own customers. So a massive loss, but it was I think in the long run, like that's going to make us so much more money just because it was such a valuable lesson learned. And we got the client back this last year. So I'm pretty happy about that. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So obviously, they're choosing based off the person. The price didn't even matter, right? And they got back to you even afterwards. So you were able to prove to them that you are an expert.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big thing. Yeah, you got to know it. Like, there's a balance between, you got to build rapport and be friends with people. Like, that's not it. Like, price isn't always it either. It's what value do you bring as an expert? So it's a combination of things. And I think that goes for every business. Like, it's not just price. It's not always just about, hey, I like you. Price and I like you, those are two big things. But, like, are you confident in the product and the actual service itself? Those are three of the main things that I think are extremely important when any buying decision. So anything in sales, yeah.
And so speaking of sales, how does one build a book of business? Is it door knocking? Is it the old yellow pages, cold calling? What is business like nowadays to start an insurance agency and gain customers?
Yeah, I think the answer for me is all the above. Do everything, like keep all those avenues open. I don't think you should just put all your eggs in one basket and let's just say door hangers or like cold calling or Facebook ads. Like there's all different avenues to get customers. I think you should keep them all open, and then I think you should prioritize the ROI and the value of each one in particular. So like there's certain ones that we heavily prioritize, and some of those being email marketing, text marketing, so actually getting like leads and then texting them. There's social media presence, like that's a huge one. Yeah, I mean those are probably like the top three, I would say. Like email, calling obviously is a big one too. So calling, emailing, texting, like if you're doing outbound reach, because okay, think about this, Josh, like everybody looks at you see every text that comes to your phone, like even the ones that are like these spam, like whatever, vote for senator, blah blah blah, like you see that, but you don't see every email. Like there's a lot of emails that get lost for sure, like there's a bunch of spam emails that get lost in there, and then you pretty much see most calls. Like calls all you can see, so it's an attention evaluation, I guess. Like you're just like, what is going to get people's attention? And then social media, everybody's on their phone like all day in Starbucks and everywhere you go, you just see everybody just staring at their phone. So where is people's attention? Social media, their phone, texting, phone calls, email, um, mailers, and like door knocking. Dude, it's just it's difficult, and the ROI of it is, yeah, it's not worth it, in my opinion. But keep them open, like
Yeah.
try them all, you know.
Yeah, of course, of course. And speaking of that, right? What is your routine like nowadays? At least even when you first started, and then where you are now. Are you, my favorite question for everyone, waking up in the morning and doing yoga and for 3 hours, or surfing before work, or are you never enjoying life and only working? What is that like?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think I have a pretty good balance of like, as you can see, man, like, I travel and like do my thing too. I like to set for myself, like, this is just the way I operate. Like, I like to set like a vacation, like 3 or 4 months from now, and then I just know I'm gonna grind it out for the next like 3 4 months, and then I go and I take 2 weeks off and I just check out and just go and party and like do whatever I want. In the meantime, like, yes, my daily routine is extremely, extremely important. Like, I try to wake up as early as possible. I suck at waking up. Like, that's definitely my weakness. Try to wake up. I always, no matter what, I always start the morning with open the blinds, get the sun in. Everybody knows that like you're supposed to start with some sunshine and whatever. Don't touch the phone. Do not touch your phone. Like, that is the number one rule, because if you open that, your day is primed with a bunch of noise inside. That's really what these phones are, is just a bunch of noise. Um, so keeping things quiet and mentally, and then going immediately, I jump in the shower and I do a meditation in the shower. I've wasted so much water, it's insane. But yeah, dude, I always start with a good like 10 to 15 minute meditation. I sit in my shower, and every single day I think I've done that for like, it's got to be like 6 years, something like that. I've done it pretty consistently. And then, yeah, then I kind of go through more so like just getting present, um, breathing, and then I think of like what I'm grateful for. I think just starting your day with some gratitude is pretty important, because in hindsight, like when you start to look at the big picture, um, there's life's not that bad, man. Like when you lose a big deal, like there's people that don't have like arms and legs, you know. So I'm pretty stoked to just even have my arms and my legs, and like my family's all alive and stuff. Those are my main things, and then from there I usually just get the espresso going, get straight to the office, and get jamming as fast as possible. I like to get I think especially in business, when you're running your own business, speed is very, very important. So getting things rolling quickly and efficiently is very important. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And when
Dude, how about you, man? What do you do?
me, my morning routine.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm a 9 to 5er, and I got my side hustle, so it's probably a different routine, right?
That
But
sounds like a lot
for
too.
me myself, I wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
4 or 5?
Yeah, pretty naturally, like 6. I'll still go back to sleep. The trick is and it's a little gross, but you set your body timer to use the restroom at that time.
Okay.
And your cells like naturally get used to your cells actually operate on a clock, and so yeah, my intestines they're going at that time. So yeah,
How do you set that though?
until 2 in the morning, I will wake up still at the same time to use the restroom every single morning. I have to. My body's telling me I need to go.
At 4 a.m. you said?
Yeah, so from between 4 and 6, my body's gonna wake up and tell me I need to use the restroom.
How, dude? How does it do that?
So when I was in between jobs, I had worked a long 3-hour career or 3-year career at Target, dealing with 200 warehouse workers every day. And, in between jobs, I made a conscious decision to wake up early every day and to use the restroom specifically as my first thing every single day, so I had a biological clock going. Yeah, because when I worked there, I had the same schedule. I had to use the restroom every single day at the same time. So I just know that's how my body operates. And
Interesting.
so yeah, I wake up at 4 to 6, and I try to stay away from my phone too, just
Yeah.
because I know I'm going to be on it the rest of the day. And then my latest morning, caffeine is yerba mate. But
Nice.
other than that, I don't consume any caffeine at all. I don't even drink coffee anymore for years.
The yerbas are filled with caffeine, man. They get you going.
Yeah. So if I need it, I got it. I got it
Yeah.
there. I even put it in the espresso maker and everything specifically. No coffee's ever been in that espresso maker.
Wow.
And and then I will then spend a lot of time in the restroom
Yeah.
after reading. I read the Bible as my first thing. I do the Bible app in the morning.
That's awesome, man.
And then and I'll try to do too is I'll think about something going on in my life, and then I'll look up a Bible verse for it or whatever. And then after I've done the Bible verse, then I start immediately hitting LinkedIn personally from
Okay.
Tuesday to Thursday.
Yeah.
Posting so I'll type in that Bible verse for the day, for example, and I'll put it into ChatGPT or some other AI, and I'll try to make a sales lesson out of it, and then
Wow.
repost it. So people are getting. I mean, all the time people hear stories like "reap what you sow," but if I told you that was
Sure.
from a Bible verse, people probably wouldn't want to hear that, right? So
For sure, dude. That's awesome, man. Wow.
Yeah, that's really kind of how I start my morning before I at least go to work. But there was a while ago when I first started sales where every single morning I didn't know about schedule sending. So how you can send your email
For sure.
the next morning.
Yeah.
So I would wake up in the morning, and instead of I would read the Bible instead of LinkedIn. I would just hit my emails like crazy. All the appointments I
Right.
had set, the emails I really need to send,
Yeah.
everything and above. And because of that, I was able to get a good client or two to kind of help me relax and not really stress as much, but to meet my quotas. But I'm still whale hunting and going
For
cold
sure.
calling and
For
looking
sure.
for my book of business all the time. Outside of that, I from 4 to 5. If I need business for my side hustle, I'll cold call.
Yeah.
I'll look up the county of whatever city or county,
Right.
and I'll get all the business owners, their name and their phone number, and I'll cold call them right there. And then I'll have something that'll keep me busy for the weekend or two, and then I don't need to do it for a while until I need another project. So, personally, my main business is logistics, and it's a franchise based, and so I can totally own an agency. I just need 2 years of a book, and I got 1 year down, and the first year's pretty good. I was at one point in the year
Wow, man,
ranked
that's awesome.
22nd in the country out of 400 reps, and right now
What was it?
I'm 45th, 22nd out of
Holy
400.
shit. Nice, dude.
So yeah, I'm trying to get the year's not over, so I can still be in the platinum club in the top 20. But
Oh, wow, you're
at
almost
least at
there,
my
man.
office, I'm number one, and my clients are the number one clients in the office.
Dude, hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Good for
Yeah,
you, dude. I love the thing you said about the Bible verse and then putting it out there because you're almost like digesting it for people that are not willing to read it on their own. That's awesome, man. I really like that.
Even before, in college, I definitely was a little bit more away from the light, I was just kind of in the world, right? But
Yeah.
one of the things that really stuck with me when I was in high school was Tyler Perry's thinking about religion and, being a Christian. And, Tyler Perry's a huge, huge Christian. And
Really?
you hear all the Tyler Perry movies, and little do you know that every single Tyler Perry piece of content is actually a message. The story ending message is something that you could relate with from obviously the Book of Life that people go about their life even measuring to and don't even want to acknowledge it, right?
Dude, I would have never known that if you didn't say that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The mom from Medea, she's just and it's not she's like a saint, but she's also a saint at the same time, right? And that's kind of how everyone else feels in a way. So
Interesting.
I can go on about that.
Dude, now I'm gonna actually watch him. I honestly did not know that. So, thanks, man. Yeah, it's good stuff.
And so, obviously, you've had all this success, right? And you're persevering as a business owner, and you've hit some goals. But what do the next couple of years look like? What are your next 5, 10 years look like? And do you
Yeah.
want to keep doing insurance as your main business? Is there any other business ventures you'd want to do as a business owner?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thanks, man. I appreciate it too. Thanks, Josh. Um, yeah, I mean, the next like 5 to 10 years, I think, God willing, man, like I would like to get this business to a new level, which right now I would like to get to a 10 million. That's like the goal. It's like $10 million book of business. That would be very nice. Hitting like 8 figures is like I think a big goal. Uh, that would be cool. And then, other than that, just continue to expand, office employees. Like I just want to bring more value than anyone else, like in the insurance space. Like that's really what I'm trying to do, and also help other agents. So I want to continue to grow Chris the Insurance Guy, and like I always say it, like in my videos, like I'm gonna bring more value than anyone else in the insurance industry ever has or ever will. So that's like, I think I'm young enough and I have enough energy to do all that. Also with God on my side, man. That's all. Yeah, it's also really important. And
And I
yeah,
want to have a question for you. Is I feel like the future for everyone is you have to have a personal brand, right? In
yeah.
the digital age that we have, in you building your personal brand,
Hmm.
has there been any like recommendations or lessons learned that could help someone like me or anyone else listening?
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, like the shorts are just the move. Like everybody's on the shorts, so being able to make content that you're doing at length, and almost making content that can fit into a short. Like this could be a short right now, like just itself. A little like tips, straight to the point, keeping things concise, because everybody's attention spans are like dropping off, and especially younger generations. Like the way people are consuming is changing. So the short style content in fit in within the long form content, um, is I think the important part. Also, just consistency. Like I think one thing I've done well over the last few years is just keeping it going. And I've heard other people say like, dude, you just keep making stuff, and like that's what they've noticed is you just kind of keep showing up, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Um, you never know when like the next video could be the one that like somebody calls you and says like, hey man, you like I want to send you all of our deals or something like that. Crazy stuff like that happens. So believing, and then yeah, just keeping a good pulse on the current state, bringing value or entertainment, and ideally both. Um, so that's probably my main pieces of advice when it comes to building a personal brand, and then just going all in, man. Like commit 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so, obviously I had my question ready. Oh, there you go. So you got into insurance
yeah,
from your friend, your buddy from high school, and his dad.
yeah.
What if you never made that call? Where would you be today? What would you be doing, Chris? Would you still be a business owner?
Who knows, man? It's funny how life works. I don't know. I I think I would like to believe I would be doing something in business. I just feel I'm a competitive person at nature. Like I just want to like I wake up in the morning and I'm like let's just make something happen. Um I feel like that's just in me to compete and to like just create. So I don't feel like I would be working at like some 9 to 5 or corporate job. I just don't feel like it. I just, as much as like the nice benefits and the income is there, like that stuff's great. But for something, it just kills me to not know like that I'm like hunting for something. I think sales, no matter what, I'd be doing some form of sales. Um, but business owner, maybe like real estate. I would be maybe do something with like real estate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. How about you,
that's
man?
awesome. If I wasn't doing what, logistics or what?
Yeah, I mean, like, you never know. Like, what if like your career went a different route? Like, what else would you think like could
Well,
have
I'll
could have
tell you
happened?
one thing. Actually, back in the day when I met you, my first year of college, I
Yeah,
wanted to drop out of school completely.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I wanted to drop out of school.
Same.
I wanted to be a surgeon And I was the kid in high school that had the 4.4
Oh
and
shit,
all
dude.
that stuff. I was like president of the National Math Honor Society and the Psychology Club and the Economics Club, and raised thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Calling as many restaurants as I could to run fundraisers and begging every teacher to give extra credit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like business, or I could be a doctor. And so, I don't want to go to school for business. It's a waste of time.
For
and
sure.
I volunteered to touch people, and I realized to be a doctor at a hospital through some program that called Pauly Pomono is offering with UCLA. And I realized I didn't want to touch people, personally. And so
Like with like blood and stuff, or like what do you mean? Like you just didn't want to?
Huh?
Like with the blood and stuff, or what?
I just, so essentially, imagine like I love my grandparents. They're passed away, but imagine like you're 18 to 22, or until you're a doctor, you're basically just moving old people and wiping their butts and shit. And once I realized that was a part of that and a lot of paperwork, that was not for me. I love school. I was good at it, but it was not for me. I love Grey's Anatomy, bro. To be honest with you, I don't tell a lot of people that, but that's why I wanted to be a doctor, because of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. Dude, my hat's off to those, like the nurses and the doctors that have to do that stuff, bro. My cousin's a nurse, and he tells me some of the stuff he has to see and like deal with. I'm like, oh my gosh, man.
Imagine going to Disneyland and seeing every person in line and having to touch them. Like, that sucks, right?
That's crazy.
I was not about that, and I wanted to work for my cousin. He was a general contractor. And so you ever seen like these housing flips with the twin brothers and stuff on HGTV? So
I think so.
I was gonna quit and do that, but instead I decided to party my ass off, and then I was like, dude, I can't do school and this. So then I switched to business because I thought it was way easier. And there was an older guy, I think he was about your age. You remember Kabir? Kabir, he had a great internship at Dell. And so he met with the dean of the School of Business and was talking to him and me afterwards about how Tom's supply chain is recession-proof, and you're making more as a Tom major coming out of college than every engineer coming out except for aerospace.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Tom. And I learned it was glorified Excel sheets and a lot of foundational top level stuff.
Yep.
And then I wanted to do sales for supply chain. That was my entire goal, was to go to sales for supply chain. But the UPS tent wasn't hiring when I graduated in fall. And then COVID happened right when I graduated that fall. So then I was having a lot of success on my internship at Target, and I did that instead. But yeah, man, I've always wanted to do sales, man. I always wanted to leave school, do sales. I even went back to school for my master's right after I was at Target. I was already in it, so might as well, ride the ladder up the executives and see what that's like. And it's like you can be as a really bad performer, and it's all about just the fact that someone likes you.
And you have the degree, the master's degree. You got the degree too.
Yeah, I have half of one. I quit halfway through. I stole my LinkedIn as a full one, I paid for it, so might as well, right?
Dude, yeah, you got to throw it on the LinkedIn, man. You got it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I can code databases. It's pointless now with ChatGPT and anything like that, but yeah, I can totally do that,
Dude, you're right, though.
Have that.
The Tom major is a glorified Excel major, dude. But dude, I will say that has helped my business like significant. Like being able to do some of the stuff that I can do on Excel, I'm like able to analyze data to the point where I can make good business decisions. And like I know for sure there's like some agents down the street that definitely cannot do the same thing I can do.
Oh, 100%.
So I will give Tom credit for that,
Yeah, when you come out of the Bachelor of Science in Business, you can analyze data and you can like confidently use Outlook. You're pretty much set.
Right. Yeah. Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah, man, I pretty much hit every question on my end.
Nice.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Dude,
I really,
thank
really
you, man.
Appreciate it. I was looking forward to this so much because you're the only one that I'm interviewing so far that's like business more related to what my nature of my main passion is sales. So yeah, man, that's awesome,
Dude,
brother.
thank you. No, I appreciate it. I know this has been like weeks in the making, so dude, I'm sorry for all the hiccups. Hopefully we can like get
No,
this. Yeah,
no, it's all right, man. So I know it looks a little bit low quality from what you're seeing right now, but
yeah, looks.
afterwards it becomes high quality. So if you could
Oh,
just stay on
dope.
the app for like 5 minutes, and then
Yeah,
it'll upload everything, and I'll show you afterwards too. That way, you're saying everything you want to say, and
yeah. No, I'm cool, man.
essentially, my idea behind this is I needed a market my side business, which is I make websites, and so
Okay.
instead of like cold calling, I just want to be able to automate it more. So this is one of my streams that I'm automating for. Plus, it's my passion project, bro. I want to interview people. It's a good excuse. I met business owners randomly on my trip to Vegas that I'm
Yeah,
lining up actually in the schedule too.
that's the
That I
beauty of it, dude.
randomly met them, and yeah, man. My website business. I literally make businesses or websites for people that are more like informational, like a salon owner or a
Okay.
barbershop or a general contractor. But if you need like a website for a very high level profile business, I even have clients of mine that have websites that are approved by the government for government contracts and stuff. I do have a web developer that I work with from Cal Poly
Dude, no,
that
actually,
we
it's funny
do.
you say this. I literally was just thinking because I have a little landing page for a little side business that I have running too. We'll talk after once we're like off
Yeah,
record, but I'll tell you, yeah, dude, I would actually really appreciate it if you yeah, we'll talk numbers and whatnot, but yeah, that'd be
yeah,
great,
yeah.
dude, for sure.
And
Yeah, and I also,
I'm gonna
dude,
press stop on the recording, man. Thank you again for being on here, brother.
dude, no, thank you, man. I thought this was great. We should do it again one of these days. So yeah, that was good.